Hi, everyone. It's Monday, the 17th day of June, and as of this afternoon, seeing a little bit of light as far as the overhead conditions are concerned. Showers and storms dealt with over the course of the Father's Day weekend, and certainly will continue to be dealt with in your forecast. We've got a flash flood watch already in effect. We'll detail that in just a few moments and what continues to be a very active and possibly stormy pattern. We're talking about showers and possibly some pretty good thunderstorms as well. That could also cause some flash flooding. We're talking about some wind issues as well, possibly in the next 24 to 48 hours, maybe even adding another 24 to 48 hours on top of that before we start to see at least a little bit of a break. Not a break completely, but the pattern may ease just a bit, hopefully, by the time the weekend rolls around. Well, I'm glad to be back tonight. And if you weren't here Friday, Thursday, and Friday, you may not know. I mean, I just couldn't function, and I'm not really doing that great today, but well enough to put a couple of words together and make some sentences. But still, finally, whatever has a lot of folks in my family and circle have had hit me, and it's been a tough one to say the very least. I put a message on Friday saying I don't recall in over 20 years ever having to take 2 days off in a row because of being sick, and I may have, but I can't recall it if I did. But nevertheless, so glad to be with you tonight. Now, on that note, I'm also barely with you here tonight, but I do have a couple of reports, interesting stories, especially for any gearheads, car lovers out there. You'll enjoy these two stories. And then I'm actually going to try to get out, and if I can, by 4 o'clock to Andrew's basketball game. He's got summer basketball tonight, 4 games, I think at 5, 7, 8, and 9 in at U Pike and Pike Central, and it's going to be a long night, and I'm going to try my best to get there, and that's going to be the only night of them, I think, this week. So I'm going to try to get the ball games in and get the show done first and foremost and tell you about the news that I have. So with that said, let's go ahead and get right to it. We'll talk more about the showers and thunderstorms, and I'll give you a better glimpse as to what lies ahead in just a few moments. But over the course of the weekend, there were some tragedies that took place in Kentucky and elsewhere, and some today that I have just a few details about. Not in eastern Kentucky necessarily, but in Pulaski County on US 27. A grandmother and her 5-year-old were both killed after being in a head on collision with an SUV. The grandmother, identified as 41-year-old Brandon Montgomery, was pronounced dead on the scene. A little 5-year-old girl, later identified as Kylie Hobbs, was pronounced dead sometime later at an area hospital. And there was a fatal motorcycle dirt bike accident in neighboring Floyd County that claimed the life of a little 12-year-old boy over the course of the weekend. Saturday night, all I know at this hour is that it happened in T-Berry and that the little 12-year-old struck a car and was pronounced dead at the scene. He's since been identified as Dylan Mullins, who passed away tragically in Floyd County, 12 years of age. And there was a call of a dirt bike accident here in McGoffin County involving a 15-year-old or an approximate 15-year-old over the course of the weekend. I have been able to confirm that a rescue and EMS did respond to a residence in the route. My apologies, and I'm probably going to have to try to get through this the rest of the week until hopefully the cough will be gone by then. But in the Job 25 area, the young man, a teenager, I believe, was riding a dirt bike and hit a log, according to his statements to EMS, and he crashed. But he was able to get back on the machine and he rode it down to his residence or a family member's residence. He was taken by ambulance there. From there to a hospital and treated for some rather serious injuries, but I believe either has been released or is to be released and will recover. That's all I have at this hour, but glad to report that teenager or young person will be okay. And that did happen here in McGoffin County over the course of the weekend. Earlier today, with my leaving the office to try to get to Andrew's games, I don't know any details, but I do know that a man and a woman's bodies were both found at a residence on Route 30. And that's Route 30 into Breathitt County, and I don't even know how far into Breathitt County. We were trying to reach out to get some more details, but it has already been confirmed to have believed to be a murder-suicide situation at that location. No other details. The coroner was called to the home before noon today, just a few hours ago, my time, and that's all I have at this time. I got this from the McGoffin County Senior Citizen Center. Marlene Howard says that if you get a phone call from a number like this, 717-429-6186, saying they are calling you from the Social Security Administration and that your Social Security number is being used with suspicious activity associated to it, hang up. It is a scam. Do not respond whatsoever. And if you do get that, please call the AG's office. They have a toll-free number. Of course, you can find it online, but it's 888-432-9257. So they can report that to the Federal Trade Commission to try to cut down. Just the latest of the, an ongoing string of scams, this time targeting our seniors. The zip code, the area code, once again showing up on those numbers of calls that have been received in this area, 717. So if you see that, just don't answer or hang up, maybe after giving them a nice earful. That's kind of been my thing as of late. With that said, I'll be right back with our first story tonight. I've got a couple of car-related stories for you tonight. If you're a gearhead, a motorsports lover, what have you, we've got some great highlights from a great weekend of 8th Mile racing in the Ohio Valley track. And if you've ever heard of the Hot Rod Power Tour, if you're one of those gearheads who likes to watch all the car shows, ladies and gents, well, I finally met someone who took the tour, and they have an actual Magoffin County tie, and they've got a cool story of how this car even came into their life 13 years ago, and I thought it made for a cool report that I'll share with you in just a few moments.
At Sagersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sagersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sagersville National.
SSI and disability cases are harder to win these days. You need all the help you can get. If the government has turned you down, I will not. Many factors are considered when a claim is being processed, like your age, education, physical, and mental disabling conditions. When it comes time to winning your disability case, you should not face a federal judge alone. You need an attorney who is experienced, determined, hardworking, knowledgeable, and dedicated to helping you win benefits that you deserve. If you need help with your SSI or disability case, call me, Donald Wayne McFarland, and let me go to work for you.
If you haven't stopped by the seasonal shop lately, you're missing out. They've got new arrivals weekly and great deals every day, and the entire store has a fresh new look. Summer's here and the seasonal shop is ready for fun, sun, and the cutest clothes. They've got outfits for any special occasion you might have on your calendar or casual outfits for any day of the week. So come in and let them help you select the perfect outfit, and don't forget the jewelry. They've got a large selection of some of the most unique jewelry in the area, and they've got everything you need for your pool or beach days with bright, beautiful cover-ups and caftans, sunglasses, towels, and hats. And new patchwork Kentucky hats with a heart over Sagersville are the perfect way to keep the sun off your face. At Fraser's Prater Drugs Seasonal Shop.
Appalachian Wireless wants to know if you're tired of settling for a phone you didn't really want because it was more about the cost of the device rather than the phone you really wanted. Well, Appalachian Wireless has the solution, and it's called the Appalachian Advantage. With Advantage, every phone model is back on the table because you only have to pay the taxes on the device you really want. Many of our hottest smartphones are less than $50 up front, then a few extra dollars on your monthly bill. With Appalachian Advantage. Payment agreement is required. See store for complete details.
Just like that, we've jumped into the spring allergy season with all the buds and blooms, tree and grass pollen, mold, and all the nasal congestion, sneezing, itchy nose and eyes and throat that they cause. Don't get caught off guard. Protect yourself daily with a quick trip to Parkway Pharmacy for over-the-counter and prescription relief. And you can always log into parkwaypharmacy.com to have your prescriptions ready when you get there at Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville.
The following report is just about all I could muster up the strength to do, and I couldn't pass up this opportunity because it was a chance to talk to a young man and his father about something that I've always wanted to do and really don't have any hopes of ever doing. I don't think I'll ever be able to take off a week and make the trek. Maybe someday, but it's certainly something that I've watched on TV, and in its 25th year, it is considered to be the largest traveling car show in the world. I mean, you're talking about 6,000 cars, and then how many ever people are driving and riding. They get together and they go over the course of several different states on the Hot Rod Power Tour. And this year was the 25th anniversary of the Hot Rod Power Tour. And a young man with Magoffin County ties, his mother from here, was actually a part of that, and then stopped here in Sagersville on his way back home to Maryland over the course of the weekend. And he was nice enough to meet me in the Ramey Park, where we got to chat about his car, about the events, about how he drove from Maryland to the Charlotte Motor Speedway on last Saturday, a week ago Saturday, and then joined the tour on all the stops: Bristol Speedway, Kentucky Speedway, Lucas Oil Raceway in Indy, Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, and some others. It made for a great trip and a great experience for this father and son team. This father driving the chase truck, if you will, in case of any breakdowns. The truck apparently the only breakdowns that they had.
Travis Snyder, I'm from Durwood, Maryland. Been building this car since I was 16 years old. I had it for about 13 years this August that we picked it up just outside of Louisa on the way into town, coming back from a funeral in '06. Been building it ever since. Ever since I was a kid, man, watching the old Power Block shows on Spike TV and the National Network. They were always advertise it every year when it was coming through, and ever since then I've been intrigued and wanted to see all of them cars together, taking over towns, taking over the whole highway, rolling down.
And this is what Travis was rolling in. And there is a backstory to this car that we'll share with you in just a few minutes. And there's also a theme to this car that's unmistakably roadkill for any of the guys and gals out there who watch any of the car shows. You more than likely have heard or seen the show Roadkill, currently on Motor Trend. But the story here is that Travis was roadkilling it before roadkill was around.
One of the highlights is there's this David Freiberg and Mark Finnegan are editors, or were editors for Hot Rod. Now they do the Roadkill show on the Motor Trend website, stuff like that. They were doing this thing where each day they traded a hoopty car to whoever wanted to bring another car with a title, and they traded, and they drove that car for that leg. On one of the second to last legs, we were driving down, and somebody had traded them a mid-60s Plymouth Savoy for their car for that leg, and we rolled up on them and passed by them, and we were sitting this car and another ratty old Plymouth right next to each other, rolling down the highway, just doing this to each other. That was probably one of the highlights of the whole drive there for me, was just getting to see those guys, because as long as I've had this car and they started doing that stuff, everybody's like, oh dude, this thing is so roadkill. All stuff about that, and like, look at these guys doing a similar thing that you got going on with the car. And then I actually finally got to kind of meet them and everything like that, and roll down the road for a little bit with them. It was one of the best parts of that. And then, also just making the whole trip with my dad and everything else. We've been working for a long time on the car. It's never quite been able to do a big trip like this, and the fact that it did it so well and ate every mile up, no problem. It's kind of one of those things that I was doing this before they made Roadkill cool. So like, I already had this theme going on with the car and stuff, and then they put the General Mayhem car out, that 68 Charger that they built, and then all of my friends were like, people started seeing that and comparing me to them and everything like that. So then I finally got to meet them.
For all the car people out there, that car people love to hear car stories regardless of what kind of cars you have. And this particular car story actually goes back to Carter Connolly and his first cousin, Laura Snyder, Mildred Connolly's daughter, that being their connection to Sagersville and Magoffin County, and that being how they picked up this 69 Plymouth on a trip back home more than a dozen years ago.
So my name is Tim Snyder. I'm Travis Snyder's father. Mildred Fairchild was my mother-in-law, but she was a Connolly off a Horsepen Branch in Falcon, Kentucky. Married into the family. Anyways, we've been coming down for a few years, and in 2006 we had to come down for a funeral, and we saw this car sitting by the side of the road in Louisa. After the funeral was over and we were heading home, I pulled in and talked to the owner and said they're willing to sell it. They had a 67 Barracuda and a 69 Plymouth Satellite. I talked to my son. He said, is the Barracuda flat back or slope back? I said, it's a fast back. And he said, I don't want that. I'd rather have the Satellite. So we made arrangements to buy it. Came down Labor Day weekend 2006, took it home, and we've had it home ever since and been doing odds and ends stuff to it for the last 13 years.
Most recently, some of those things included swapping in a 6-speed transmission to make this trip a lot easier and a lot more bearable. In a car that, mind you, still has no power brakes, no power steering, and obviously no air conditioning. But did make the trip and has kind of made the trip full circle, so to speak. Not just talking about the Hot Rod Power Tour. The car is 50 years old this year. This is the 25th anniversary of the Power Tour. And this father and son got to spend some time together and share time with a lot of other hot rodders as well.
This one old guy was driving an old red Ford, and he said, No matter what, he says, you get a bunch of car guys together, whether they're Chevy guys, GM guys, Dodge guys, Mopar guys, or whatever kind of guy you are. Once you get together in a parking lot, start talking cars, it doesn't matter. You're all great friends.
And I'm not sure if I included it yet or not. It's in my notes. I'm still not, of course, firing on all cylinders myself. But the local connection to this whole story is that Travis's mother and Carter Connolly are first cousins. Laura Snyder is Carter's first cousin through the Conleys, of course, on Horsepen. And that's how this local connection came to be, kind of how they ended up with that car and how I ended up with this story. And I wish to thank them all for it. Indeed, everyone who likes cars likes to talk cars with anybody that will listen and share their story as well. That being Travis, going to stay in touch with us, and you never know. Maybe next year we can get a group from here to maybe make it. You don't have to go on the whole trek. You can take in just one leg or two or all of them. Might be something for a group from here to consider trying to do. And maybe some other folks from here have, and I just don't know about it. But regardless, thanks, Travis and Tim, for talking to us. And makes me want to do it just that much more. It's time for a little water. Got a great weekend of drag strip racing. Connolly Racing Team still setting the track on fire. Almost literally, not quite. A little damage to the car this week. But we'll have that and your weather forecast and your calendar in just a second.
Of course, you can always get guaranteed great deals this time of year on mowers and weed eaters and blowers, but right now at Parkway Gun and Pawn, they've also got an incredible selection of hand and power tools, guitars, and musical instruments just in, new and used, long and handguns, and ammunition and more, with no pawn limits and cash today on anything you want to sell or pawn. Parkway Gun and Pawn. On average, men live 4 to 5 years less than women. And men are 71%, or 12% more than women, at risk of obesity. And women are 100% more likely than men to visit the doctor for annual exams and preventable services. Guys, if something doesn't look or feel right with your body or mind, look to the professionals at Hope Family Medical Center who want to help you live a longer, healthier, happier life. From mental and physical health to your diet, prescriptions, physical activity, and more, Hope can help with all of it. That's Hope Family Medical Center in Salyersville. Getting the best deal on the best tires with the best service has never been easier. Just log on to ConleyTire.net, check out the latest rebates, sales, and promotions, pick out the tires you want, and email, call, or come by. For huge savings from the family who's been proudly serving the area for over 32 years. Conley Tire in Staffordsville, 297-2424. From brakes, exhaust, suspension, fluid changes, to expert collision and auto body, to turning your 4x4 or diesel from mild to wild, get real auto maintenance, paint, and repair at Black Smoke Performance in Dixie of Salyersville, 349-8785. Did you know that with the IGA Personal Rewards Card, real people are getting really big discounts on gas? Just sign up at IGA, and from then on, for every $50 you spend on groceries, you get anywhere from 5 to 25 cents off on each gallon of gas you buy at VIP Fuels on the Parkway. This customer saved $1.75 a gallon, and some have paid only 10 cents a gallon for 15 gallons of gas. And it's quick because your points stack up. And most weeks, IGA has double, triple, or even 5 times the points. And they'll give you another 10 cents off every time you share your receipt on the IGA Facebook page showing you've saved 50 cents or more. It's almost like free gas at your Salyersville IGA. Check out this week's edition of the Salyersville Independent and get this coupon for a buy 1 foot-long or 1 chicken sandwich deal where you can get the second one for only $1. That's right, get the coupon and get a foot-long or a chicken sandwich and get a second one for just $1. And here's a little hint, you can get the coupon at your Salyersville Lee's Famous Recipe. It's a no-brainer, and it's buy 1, get 1 for $1 on our famous foot-long with chili or chicken sandwich.
Well, by now, well covered. I wasn't here Thursday and Friday. I'm barely here in mind tonight. So didn't do much over the course of the weekend. One thing I was set to do was to make the trip to Ohio Valley. I was supposed to have been at this race. This was the race I wanted to go to because it wasn't one that was drawn out over 3 days. It was going to be a whole Saturday full of racing after some qualifying rounds Friday night. But I could watch the Connolly racing team go on to a win, which is what I was expecting them to do, which is exactly what they did. But fortunately, as they always do, Martin and Michelle are gracious enough to bring us back some videos and keep us up on their efforts. This local community and family racing team really had a big show of it this weekend at Ohio Valley. And here's how it all turned out. Had I been, I would have gotten to take in the full 6 rounds of the Ohio Valley prize fight. There were actually first 2 rounds of qualifying on Friday night, and they ended up number 1 qualifier. Here's the first qualifying run of 5.10 at 139 miles an hour. And then you'll see the rest of them here. Here's the next one, 5:08 at 139. On this one, the steering column or something broke and gave, and the car drifted into the wall. Martin was able to get it back on the track after pulling the chute. Did a great job of just rashing the driver's side and really just cosmetic injuries. But nevertheless, it didn't keep them from going on. They were able to get the car repaired. They raced the following day. Here's the third qualifier at 5:15 at 136. And then here's the fourth qualifying run at a 5.11 at 138. And with that top qualifying run of a 5.08, they got a bye in the first round and ran a 5:08 at 139 miles an hour then. 5:08. Then they faced off against 10 Soldier race cars for the second round, and a 5:01 at 140 miles an hour for Martin Connolly and Connolly Racing set them up against Jonathan Inslee in his nitrous Mustang in the semifinals. Inslee got a best ever 5.07, but Martin identical again with a 5.01 to reset the class record again and take the win, putting them up against their buddy and friend Austin Keens in the finals, where he spun the tires off of the light, and Martin took it with a 5.03 and won the Ohio Valley prize fight. And in doing so, I wanted me to give a big thanks to all the racing family, the community who has followed them, keeps up with them, all of course, their sponsors as well. A big thanks to them. And a big thanks to Martin and Michelle and everyone at Connolly Racing for allowing us to share and keep you up to date on another exciting weekend of drag racing. They're off actually next weekend, but they'll be going on to Maple Grove in the NMRA modified street class the week after. Congratulations, guys. More on the Connolly Racing team, I'm sure, sooner than later. Thanks again, guys. Here's tonight's community calendar brought to you by Magoffin Farm Bureau. A reminder that the Magoffin County Teen Coalition will meet in its bi-monthly meeting this Wednesday, day after tomorrow at 1 o'clock at the Magoffin County Health Department. Everyone is invited to attend. And going on nightly this week, a Unity Revival, Preaching in the Park. That's the Ramey Park here in Sagersville, 7 o'clock nightly, beginning tonight at the, what we know best as Continental Shelter. Please bring a lawn chair with you. Several different preachers will be there each and every night. This is brought to you by or hosted by evangelist Todd Masters and Pastor Greg Minix. But Preaching in the Park nightly, 7 o'clock here in Sagersville. Don't forget, coming up very soon, the big summer special needs blowout hosted at North Magoffin Elementary, our Sagersville Masonic Lodge, of course, a major contributor. This is going to be a wonderful event, the second annual. They've got everything from superheroes to special guests to train rides to games to bouncy houses to something fun for all ages, and it's all free, of course. And if you have any questions, contact Paul Montgomery at 606 424-6302. And Vacation Bible School coming up on the 22nd. That's this Saturday, the 22nd, at the Sagersville Church of Christ for a superhero Vacation Bible School. It's a full day of events, 9 in the morning till 4 at Sagersville Church of Christ. And remember, if you want an announcement on the program, it's as simple as getting it to me, and I'll tell everyone about it. Moving on, funeral service announcements include one for this evening, and that's for 49-year-old Linda Joseph Howard of Sagersville, who passed away on the 14th, survived by her husband James. She's also survived by her sons James, Alec, and Corey, and daughters Amber Nicole Saylor, and was preceded in death by daughter Tia Michelle Howard. Visitation continues tonight at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Services will be held in Linda Joseph Howard's honor tomorrow starting at 2, also from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Well, right now it's about 3:10 my time. The show taped earlier today in the hopes of just getting through one, and then of course getting to Andrews ball games in Pikeville tonight, and hopefully by tomorrow maybe even that much better. I really hope to be able to get out and catch up on some interviews that I just postponed, and a lot of things that being under the weather has kept me from doing over the course of the past week. So real quickly, here's your forecast. The local Doppler radar wouldn't be accurate as of right now, but over the next couple of days, a lot of storms like we have seen, like we saw last night, like maybe you saw and your neighbor didn't, or vice versa, are going to continue to produce some heavy rainfall, and that could lead to some flash flooding, and that does include the viewing area, at least most of the viewing area. And bearing all of that in mind, that flash flood watch is in effect until 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, and you can see McGoffin and Johnson counties and other eastern Kentucky areas as well in that watch area. Locally heavy rainfall certainly a possibility, and should you see any flash flooding, a likelihood for some folks. Remember, turn around, don't drown is the motto that we should all live by, pardon the pun. Now, moving on to the rest of your forecast period, here's how it's going to break down. Like I said, pretty much shower or storm chances pretty much every day throughout the forecast. It's going to be warmer. It's going to be humid, so it's going to feel more like summer. 68 degrees tonight, 60% chance of showers, mostly cloudy for your Tuesday. We won't see 80, I don't think, tomorrow. Upper 70s, 67. Showers, storms likely tomorrow, mainly after 8 o'clock in the morning. And then not winding down off and on throughout the day, but not really winding down, or at least the chances thereof, till late tomorrow night, around 11 or midnight. For Wednesday, midweek, still a 60% threat of showers and storms. We might see some partly sunny skies, mind you, but they'll be short-lived. Maybe another tenth to a quarter of an inch of rain Wednesday on top of everything else, unless you get in on one of those showers or storms that lays down much more than that in a very short period of time. And look, back down to the 70s, we fall on your Thursday. More showers and storms, not necessarily chances, pretty much a likelihood on your Thursday throughout the afternoon and evening. 77 and 62, your high and low for Thursday. Friday looks to be at least a little bit of a break in the action to the tune of 80 degrees and partly sunny skies. We'll see mostly a dry day. I'm hoping for the entirety of your Friday. I think that 20% chance of showers, if the clock holds true right now, will be after like 1 in the a.m. on your Saturday. So we've got 4 days with really good and high shower chances and storm chances all the way through Thursday night. Friday, we should dry out. Saturday and Sunday, we're still going to see some sunshine stick around. Those shower chances will also hover at around 30 to 40%, but not as great as the next 4 days stand to be. 82 Saturday, 83 Sunday. Still holding on to the low 80s by Monday. Still trying to hold on to some sunshine as well. And again, I just want to apologize for my absence Thursday and Friday. I don't take not being here lightly at all. It's really hard not to be here. But it was also hard to just do anything but sit on the couch over the course of the past 5 or 6 days. Feeling a bit better again. Hope to be better even tomorrow. Please join us. I've still got a whole long list of news and stuff that I got to get caught up on from the past week or so. City Council meeting is tonight, and of course there'll be other meetings this week that we'll be covering, and a host of other news and information. So please enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I hope to see you back here tomorrow night. Again, thank you so much for watching.